I mean, this month in the world of marketing, search, social, and websites, I included AI because that's always a topic of conversation. Let's do the round robin. I'm Pip, and this is. Damn, I'm dyslexic.
It's
That's
like
failing.
different for everyone.
Uh,
Is it? Anyway,
yeah,
so I'm
yeah.
Pip.
So,
Go on.
my name is Phelan. I work with Pip at Seymour Digital Media.
I'm Rena from Little Works Indie Media.
And I'm just Greg.
There's no
That's right.
Justin Greg. Why are we just Gregging? Are we just Gregging?
Yeah,
He
we're
didn't
just
win
Greg.
the Survivor Pool, people. That's what I just heard. Anyway, we are talking about all great things. Great things, search social websites, and I'm gonna let Rena kick it off today because I see she left some good notes. It's gonna be a good conversation because we're gonna get right into it.
All right. So I think the first interesting thing is that Netflix is opening up an ads platform part of their system so that you're going to view ads. So I guess they're doing the Prime thing. Prime did that a few months ago. And so did somebody weigh in heavily to add to that?
Yeah, I totally really wanted to weigh in because Google did their monthly marketing thing, and one of the things was the ads on TV, more ads on TV. So, which is interesting.
So where are they buying? I wonder. I want to know where they're buying their data from, because are they?
Disney, they're gonna get some search from Disney. I saw that, so I thought that was pretty interesting. But anyway, okay. So we got any other feedback? Y'all want to jump in on this? No, no, we're
Uh, I
okay.
mean, I mean, Netflix has been turning itself slowly into TV for the last few years. Ever since interest
I know.
rates went
This
up,
is,
they had to.
yeah. So yeah, you want to weigh in, which is different than just stating what's new. It's annoying because they disrupted, and this is the whole problem with disruptors. They come in with their venture capital backed money, and then they ruin the industry, and then they turn their industry into the same industry that it was. They just become
Before.
they become the
Yeah.
mainstream, and that's
Well,
all
so
you
hold
can
on. So we had fragmentation,
Yeah,
which led to democratization slightly of. Did
I
it?
disagree.
No, it got
No.
rid of it. Got rid of Blockbuster, and we all had late fees, so we're all thankful.
No,
Yeah.
Blockbuster wasn't the competition that they were going in to disrupt, I don't think. I think they were actually going in to disrupt the television channels and production companies,
Oh,
which
interesting.
they've done a fine job. In California, someone was saying that one of the divisions of the union was telling people not to even bother applying because there aren't enough jobs for their members. So it really is because they're not using, yeah. So, anyways, I find it really just disappointing, quite frankly, because this is first of all, this is not. I saw the interesting aspects of um, of disrupting the industry. Pip, like you, I think I was pretty excited about some of the aspects. However, how it plays out. It's just always contingent on the economic systems that we have. So in the end, it always plays out in the similar ways. Like it's just repeating similar the shitty parts of so and I'm disappointed that this is the direction that they're going in. They couldn't find another solution.
Maybe they will. Maybe out of it, I mean, ads seem to take over things. I mean, ads, now make the world run more. So anyway, they can get into your life. I mean, placement's a big thing, right? That's the reason I think uh, influencers are so in the know now, and people. I don't even know what's going on with the influencer
I
market
find
actually.
it way more interesting. That's not to me sort of that's way more interesting. Product placement, I'm all for. I love product placement. I think it's fun to figure out the product placement within movies and TV shows. But ads are something totally different. That was the thing that I didn't want to pay for television so I could sit and watch ads every 10 minutes. Like that's not what I'm interested in doing. And now I'm going to go back to getting cable. What do they call it now? You can't even record. What is it called? What do they call it? I don't know what they call it when
Netflix?
you record the show and then you fast
Oh,
forward.
PVR. Wasn't that a
Uh,
PVR?
DVR.
Yeah, yeah, DVR, whatever
Sure.
it's called. I think that's where I'm headed back because I don't particularly enjoy. And now it's like a benefit when Prime tells me that after I'm going to see these ads, I can watch the whole video without any ads. You know, have you noticed that on Prime?
Mm,
But if you watch television, you get an ad about every 15 minutes or so.
interesting. Yeah, they do time it out. I
Yeah.
we had special streaming and it's not working right now, but I am on Netflix, but I'm wondering where they will place the ads. I find it interesting. I mean, they sell you radio or they sell you Google Home now, and if you don't want radio or like ads, just buy YouTube stuff. It's just like instead of having free radio where the ads are paying for the radio station.
The other thing about ads is that it has to be actually done well. And so what happens with North American television is that they adhere to a certain advertising um, cadence. So they're going to do so much so of the show, they're not going to have anything
Yeah,
exciting. And then they're going to have an ad. But if you watch American television in Europe, for example, they're on a different sequence of.
cadence. Yeah.
Yeah. So what ends up happening is it'll just stop in the middle, like in the middle of something that's happening. That it's not at a natural arc in the story. Stop in the middle of something that's happening, and then there's the ad, and it just kind of blows you over. So it's ads in inside television is one of my things that I love to notice. So
Right, I thought it was free when you pay for Prime. Now it's just they've segmented like, yeah. Now you don't, it's not like BBC or I don't know. It's a lot. It's a lot. I understand. I'm thinking they're not going to have in video ads, but they're going to have. I
they
mean,
will have ads. They're going to do exactly what Prime's done. They're not going to do anything different, I don't think.
mm,
Just they're going to copy each other. One of them launches it, they try it out, they see if people will suck it up, and then the other platforms follow suit.
well, one thing to follow is, if you look at market share. So back in the day when Google ads started, Amazon had bought like a tiny piece of the market share for TV, and every year it bought a little bit more. And so that tells you that they have Prime, which is, don't you have Prime if you get delivery? Is that what's you get the Prime delivery and then you get the extra TV stuff?
That's correct. But yes, that's correct. But now it comes with ads.
Oh yeah, they're in there. So
So
what?
there's a class action lawsuit in the states that's happening right now because when we signed up for Prime Television was supposed to be a paid add-on. So having them add the television in is not in accordance to whatever contract we click yes to when we sign up for it for Amazon Prime. And so there's a class action lawsuit about it. I think uh, Netflix, I don't know what Netflix is like. I don't know how it'll affect Netflix or if they'll have to do the same thing, but I guess they figure the payout's going to be worth it in the end, which it probably
Mm.
is, right?
In the end,
But
and this is just a segment of advertising because the search social and websites, they aren't going to go away. And I mean, I don't know if we'll have TV in. Well, I guess we do now have video on websites and stuff, but we don't need to pay attention to the TV stuff. Let's talk about fun stuff like
Well,
AI.
I was gonna say
What?
I was gonna say as a segue to this is that these ad placements are definitely going to be a part of the Google Ads portfolio because they already are doing it for other TV platforms.
yes,
And so I think that it's just going to build further that they're just going to integrate it in with the existing ads like Facebook and Google. And of course, Google had their big I/O this week where they had a lot of announcements. A lot of them
Whoop
focused
whoop.
around Performance Max and AI. Those are kind of like the two. If I was going to give like the Coles, like the quick and fast, is that they're pushing for more Performance Max. It's going to have more AI in it, and supposedly they're going to have better reporting on Performance Max, which is definitely the shortcoming of using it as a tool. Is you don't really have enough insights to be like, do this, don't do that, or I'm showing up a lot of these placements. I don't want to show up there, that kind of thing.
right. So
And so I,
does is Performance Max what runs when I'm looking at Google Analytics from my end? Is that the cross-platform category?
It can be. So it does. Yeah, it's one of many. This is why setting up UTM parameters and your tracking URLs is going to be more valuable with Performance Max. Um, the one thing, yeah, so cross network is display. Like it's just a shorthand, but Performance Max incorporates display,
Well,
and so
hold
that's
on.
why.
Oh,
Let's explain.
on analytics, you get two separate categories: display and cross-platform. And my understanding, when I look at the eye, it says that that's sort of where um, where other platforms might be buying into Google ad space, or where
So
Google ads are buying into other platforms. That was my understanding of that. Is I've got do
Google
I have
Ads Google Ads has two distinct platforms: search and display is the display network, which
no I
is which can hold CBC, CSS, global, blah blah blah, every website in the world, blah 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 blah, right? That's that. So that's where the Facebook can fall in there. And like you can do different types of display type of ads. So that's where PMAX is falling in. Did that make more sense, or was that
no,
worse?
but
Uh,
I'll ask in your next course session.
yeah,
Okay.
I'd say just as a quick hand, when you see cross network, it's a website that is part of the Google Display Network,
So why do they
and
have
so
two
that
sections, two categories in Google Analytics? Is it just is it separated in some way? Like I don't understand why. But that's
Search
another
and
I,
display are
yeah.
separated.
yeah. No, well,
No,
hold on.
that's
There's
not what I
display and cross network that show up, and those are category groupings that are done automatically by Google. So you'd have to
yeah.
go into the Google because they'll let you know
Into
how
the
they've
Google,
separated.
into Google Ads.
Into
Yeah,
Google,
in the
no, Google
audiences.
Analytics, into Google Analytics.
Okay.
It's a grouping category that you is set in the settings, and you have to go in there, and it'll let you know how they've organized them.
Oh, there's a second page. Okay, because I've never found that. I've only found the definition for what they're saying cross-platform is. Okay, well, anyways, we should probably move along because now we're getting right into the middle of it and we haven't finished everything. We're not
Yeah.
even close.
Kind of close. We're kind of close. So, okay, let's talk. What we got, Rena? I think you got some things on Instagram. What's going on there? Or Greg, what's
Yeah.
going on with websites?
Not a whole lot for web-related stuff since the last release of WordPress. There's been some security releases for it, but one thing of note that came up a little bit ago was a very commonly used feature on many hosts called Lightspeed. And there's a specific caching plugin to use on Lightspeed servers if your hosting is a Lightspeed server, that has an exploit in it where hackers had been targeting unpatched um, plugins and able to gain administrative rights to your site and basically be able to do whatever they felt like. So that was pretty major for because Lightspeed is a very common um, application that many hosting servers are set up with. So if you're running a Lightspeed server, definitely check if you're using the Lightspeed cache plugin and make sure it's updated.
That could have affected a lot of people, right? So how would people figure out if they're on that? They'd call their web dev, and if they don't have a web dev, what they're looking for a certain plugin they have.
Well, their hosting would be Lightspeed hosting, and they would need to be using the Lightspeed cache plugin to optimize their site and have caching capabilities on their site. If they're not using that plugin, then it's not an issue. You can still be on a Lightspeed server and be fine. It's because of this Lightspeed cache plugin to optimize on a Lightspeed server. If you were using that, that is what has the exploit in it. So
Sounds like a bad day for some people.
could
No
be.
kidding.
I mean, nobody wants to give up administrator rights to their site.
It's
Yeah,
nobody.
that could be just bad. But wow, wow. Okay, on another note of fun hacking, because it sounds like we had here on the West Coast the London drugs, right?
Hmm.
Which got hacked. I think I saw something on the news yesterday about that, and I know it doesn't seem like that's part of this month in the world of marketing, but technically it kind of is because
Well, it's letting you. It,
yeah.
it reminds you that security is a big issue, and you got to keep on top of it. And you don't want to have your systems hacked because you don't want to be a giant. Whether you're a giant company or a little one, hacking and ransomware is more prevalent than it's ever been because of Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. Because it makes it easy for you to hold something hostage on a website, not even be nearby, and get money.
Mm,
It's yeah, it's annoying at best and libelous. Like you could be liable for your data that's
yeah.
taken to the other thing. And so that's the other
Mhm.
thing. You want to work with a company that has errors and emissions um,
Insurance, liability
insurance.
insurance.
And I've
Mhm.
just been talking to quite a few people, and nobody asks their marketers that. It's
Oh,
super,
interesting.
yeah, it's super important to have that. And if you're a marketer, you need to get that. It doesn't cost that much for the year, and it's so worth it because if you have any problems, then you're not caught, and you're not in trouble.
Well, yeah,
you
and
know,
you have to, if you're
Mhm.
incorporated, you have to have that in your insurance, right? So, I think.
I have no
Uh,
idea. All I know is that I'm not incorporated, but I do have it. So,
yeah, that's good. And then we have some lighter news on an upbeat thing. What about X becoming X.com?
oh yeah, that was fun.
Hmm.
I still can't get it. I can't.
I guess it doesn't automatically forward, but you can now go to x.com and it is Twitter.
Yeah,
They're
Twitter.
not automatically forwarding twitter.com to x.com
no,
as of yet.
yeah, but
Mm.
that's pretty exciting. Like, I want to know how did they do that? Like, just from a technical perspective, how do they have both the platform, the tweets running on both URLs? That's so exciting to me.
Yeah, well, there's
Yeah.
ways to be able to have the same site at multiple domains.
I'm just thinking you're geeky, just so you
But when
know.
you, but when you
It's
make a post on one, how does it get transferred to the other? Right?
It's the
Because
same,
the
Yeah. Are they
same
running?
platform. You're just at a different URL.
But the URL, the way the DNS is always structured, you have to have one as the top level domain. Like one
oh, I
always
see.
has to be the dominant.
Okay, I see. So it's not forwarded, but they're connected. Okay. All right. Well, then that's not as
Hmm.
exciting as I
And then we
Well, no,
have so
it's still you did catch on the right thing. That's weird is if you're not because you always should be forced to either go to Twitter or X. One or
Yeah,
the other has to be the
yeah,
top level one. So you can't have two top level ones unless you're running two instances of the same website. Then you have to run two backup. Like you'd have to be backing and cross referencing. So it seems
right,
like it would be a lot of work to do that they wouldn't want to do.
right, right. But regardless, I think that's quite fun to have X.com. And then what are they? Are they going to just keep Twitter? Which country was it that they can't have X.com? I forgot.
Japan, they
Right.
can't. X is a got a copyright from a band. There's a very popular band there that is called X, and so
So
they don't have the copyright in Japan.
do you think they'll keep Twitter.com in Japan then?
Most likely. I mean, that's my suspicion. So they would keep it because apparently Japanese corporations are quite litigious, especially around copyright, and so like they're not afraid to sue you in Japan if you do that. So I would suspect that probably they would keep it as Twitter. That's my guess.
But
exciting news for
if he
oh,
owns the domain X, the copyright would be only on like the
It-
the
It's
name.
calling your so the way I heard it explained is that the copyright it's you're representing yourself, the business, as a copywritten name. So you're not allowed to represent yourself as that.
Hmm.
So you wouldn't be able to
even
have any of the
even though you own it, and they're not legally trying to take X.com away from him. He
yeah,
just can't use
well,
it.
yeah, because like so you don't own a domain. You lease it. No one owns a domain. They're all owned by ICANN, and then you buy a lease from them. That's and so the lease is still for ICANN, and ICANN doesn't want to get sued. So they would say that it's null and void. And so if that like that's my understanding on it. I'm not like an international.
That's interesting, isn't it? Because this deals with international marketing and
Yeah.
yeah, so there's different regulations, rules that we're not going to get into. Let's talk about other things that are related to this, like
Uh,
how
I was speaking of lawsuits.
TikTok. I was thinking TikTok. It
Oh,
would
I had a
match.
better segue.
Oh, what was your segue? Damn.
Speaking of lawsuits, OpenAI is being sued by Scarlett Johansson
Yeah.
because they decided to go ahead and use her likeness in a voice system, uh, because after she had refused, and the only reason why she's
Twice.
allowed to,
Why
uh,
would they use
uh,
something after she's refused it? That is the worst business decision I've ever heard of.
And
oh
posted. Oh, it's so much
yeah.
worse.
Yeah. The only reason why the lawsuit can go ahead in the first place is because Sam Altman decided to, when he announced it, he posted a link to the demo and it only had one word, which was her, which is a reference to the 2013 Scarlett Johansson movie where it's her voice is like an automated system.
Oh, uh-oh.
Her. All he had to write was her, and that's what he wrote. And now he's in trouble.
Sam is always in trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah. oh,
Yeah.
we got how does everybody feel about Screaming Frog from Shaylin and OpenAI integration into API? I have a lot of feelings about this. Screaming Frog, I want to go play with more. Yeah, I didn't know OpenAI was integrating with their API. Does that mean everything we put in Screaming Frog they get?
Yeah.
Probably.
And they
Yeah.
sell Google Ads. Did you know that? Screaming Frog has Google Ads as a service. I did not know that, but I guess it's not their
But
number one
I mean,
service. I do.
they're an agency. They're like at the end of the day, much like White Spark, it does like a bunch of SaaS
Google.
products that are still
Yeah.
a local SEO agency.
That's a really good question, Shaylin. I don't know how I feel. I mean, they gave away, Reddit gave away everybody's information, right? I mean, Google originated because Yellow Pages really gave away their information. So I think it'll make some big changes happen quicker.
Well, they sold it. They didn't just hand it over. They
Who?
they
Which
got a
one?
pretty Reddit. They got paid for giving away their data. So
Well,
it
giving away
wasn't.
people's data,
Yeah.
right? Because everybody was a volunteer who was in there and make it. So yeah, but that's what you kind of get for just chatting and giving away your time, I guess. I don't know. It's hard. That's hard. It's such a good question. It's coming. It's gonna take over, and we got to figure it out as we go. Because what I saw from the Google Ads AI, like the marketing, like you know, I have a client who's got a product and I can't get any pictures. And it's going to make it so I can take that picture and just put it in any background, right? Like, so I think with AI changes and stuff like that, we're just going to have to learn to work with it. It's very life changing what's happening right now. We're just at the very beginning, right? So I think we all got to keep learning and doing and paying attention to all of this. That's what do you think? What do you guys think?
Don't all talk at once now.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not that familiar with Screaming Frog, so that's not really a space for me, but from what I've read, there's a lot of data that's being scraped. I'm not sure how I feel about that. So, and of course that's how OpenAI works. That's the whole thing. I still have the same feelings that I have about it in general, where it's like all the people that are actually writing great content and doing great things on the internet, their work is now devalued in my mind. Um, and it's going to be a lot harder to create and to find original work with the plethora of uh, iterations of the same thing. We already had problems with that where people were scraping other people's work and creating iterations, and it's just I don't know. I don't think that's I don't know. That's
I,
not the kind of internet that I actually want to see.
to be honest, from what I'm seeing out there, and I mean, maybe this will change, but like, because been playing with this system that does AI with Google search, and the insights it gives are interesting and quite accurate if it followed from material that was sourced correctly. Because it's just pulling a line from here that it thinks makes sense, but it's referencing it wrong, right? So I think that the language models still have a long way to go, and I think we could maybe gain some insights, but I think that the human hand is very needed in every element to make it work properly. Because machines run themselves into walls. I've done it. I mean, humans, they'll try to move. If they hit a wall once, they will move aside. And
Oh man, this reminds me. I just watched a TikTok yesterday about because there's an app. I don't know if it's like an open AI specific app or not, but people have it on their phones, and you can just talk to your phone, and AI will answer you, and you can have a conversation. They took two phones and activated it. And so the two AIs were just talking back and forth to each other from phone to phone and having a conversation. But that would go on forever. That conversation would never stop if those two AIs just kept on talking back and forth to each other.
it's true. It is true. But it is interesting. Like, I mean, how many of us are using ChatGPT and being like, it's like asking a friend a question that seems to know a lot more than you. You know, I don't know. I'm shoving things at it, learning. So it's such an interesting topic. I think that if well, I want to put that I use AI on my website. So I think that's the direction I'm going in with it. Not that it might be the best direction. What are you
Well,
gonna
and I
say?
would say,
I hope you're going to be more specific than just that.
uh,
That would
I
be
would
my
say that like, yeah, sorry, I was just going to say that with Screaming Frog and OpenAI, I think that it's not necessarily a bad thing because it doesn't really scan the on-page content other than to find a word count. It's mostly around SEO related things like your page titles, meta descriptions. So, and that's where OpenAI does reasonably well, and it's not too bad where it's doing regressive searches over data. So I think that it'll be fine to kind of point out like a maybe like a plan of like, hey, you've got X number of things like this. I would start here. And so
like the
it's more it's hmm?
yeah. Yeah, that's exactly right. So it looks like the Screaming Frog integration is mostly about organizing titles and meta tags and things like that. I just took a very brief cursory look while I can listen and read at the same time. And so I think in that case, that might actually speed things up a whole lot. But are they giving the same answer to everybody else?
I don't know because every SEO person is slightly different, right? Of what they're going to want. And I mean, even if you use the AI, you have to be very specific. As I said, you have to work with it. So, I mean, can it help you? You're still going to have to adjust it because it's not, you want a sales copywriter in with your meta descriptions, titles, URLs, and you also want an SEO writer, right? And then you might want somebody with some skills from Google Ads that understands things about title case and sentence case, and you know, yeah. So I mean, I think that to get the perfect thing, you'll have to wiggle with it. And speaking of wiggle, we're gonna wiggle out of here. Yeah, that was a terrible segue. But I do want to dance the afternoon away singing songs while I work because I think today is gonna be a great day, and I hope it's a great day for you all. Y'all know what we're doing next week? Do we know? I do. Okay, next week we have a special guest. So I'm very excited to bring a friend of mine in named Darby, and we're going to be talking about sales. So if you want to learn anything about sales, you should join. This guy is so good at what he does. He works with Jason Swank and who had a mastermind that we were in a while ago. But he's a person I'd like to call a friend. So I hope you all can join because it's going to be really fun. And I think we're out of here. Bye, guys. Bye.
Everyone.
Brought to you
Bye.
by. Bye.